Now you should be able to hear me. That is because I had myself muted, which is an embarrassing moment, and I take full fucking credit for it. Thank you, B, though, for letting me know. Um, yeah. So, what's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? It's been a while. Been a little bit. It's been a while. It's been about a week. Been a week since I have streamed. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be back. There's some stuff to talk about. There's some things to mention. Yeah, some things to talk about. So, where am I going to? There am I going to? Yeah, there wasn't a reason why there wasn't a stream last week. There just wasn't. Uh, I just didn't have the topics to talk about, and look, if I'm not entirely fucking happy with, or if I'm doing a stream just to do a stream, it's not great, right? It's not. Yeah, I had even said, I had actually messaged a few people, and I was just like, it's just gonna be like a random hangout and stuff like that. But then I was like, you know what, I personally don't find those as kind of entertaining, because you don't know what the topics is going to be about beforehand, and you could turn up to a stream that like ends up being fantastic, but it only ends up being fantastic like the second half of it, because then it starts to get going. Anyway, I'm massively over explaining this. I've just put a link to join the room down in the live chat if you want to come in. All of the topics that I'm going to be talking about, it's actually not all of the topics, so it should be, and more should be popping up at the bottom of that, because there's a few things that we want to talk about that are not there. A little bit annoying that it's not there, actually. Yes, where am I going to? I'm going to playlist, and I don't book playlist are. There we go. Right, that's all set up now. Screen though yet though, do we? Right. So, yeah, few things to talk about. Kyle Rittenhouse got off. Yeah, that happened. Which, look, it was a fucked up case from the very, very start. I genuinely do believe that. It was incredibly biased from the word go.
True about this country turned out not.
And like it was one of those cases. It was sort of like the George Floyd one, where like it kind of like, it could have, you could reasonably see it going either way. Like you could see it, like, look, obviously people have their opinions, and people are kind of like, hey, no, it definitely should have gone this way, whereas other people are like, no, it definitely should have gone that way. I had my opinions. I did a stream about it a little while ago. The last stream that I did, we talked about Kyle Rittenhouse. The trial was ongoing at the time. But yeah, look, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that I don't agree with the ruling of the case, but I mean, everything was stacked against him, or was stacked for him, was stacked against the prosecution. The idea that like the judge discounted some things that the prosecution wanted to bring up, was not allowed to call the victims, but was heavily encouraged to call the people that were at the BLM, protests, and what eventually did unfortunately turn into riots, but that they were encouraged to call them rioters and looters and all this stuff. So it was very, very negative towards the prosecution's kind of side, and very positive towards Kyle's side. So it was a shit show from the very very start. If I'm being totally honest. And yeah, it definitely kind of should have. I personally think it definitely should have turned out a different way. But look, that's you know he did a sit down interview with Tucker Carlson that we are going to watch. We're not going to watch it quite just yet because it is quite fucking long, quite long video. But yeah, so we're not going to watch it quite yet. There's a few other things to kind of talk about. So before I forget, because there was an Islamophobia thing that was kind of done to Ilhan Omar, that she was not victimized, but she was pointed out and it was brought up. It's a recurring thing that has kind of happened to her for some fucking reason. People love just ridiculing this woman. Yes. But yeah, so like but this was a thing. Everybody remembers this was a thing, or at least they should remember that this was a thing anyway. Why are you not able to see that? There you are. You're able to see it now. Yeah, so everybody should at least remember this was a thing. I'm going to actually massively shrink because that is not great. Right, and transition that in. Right. Yeah, so there was an anti-Muslim poster outside of the Chamber of Delegates in West Virginia that was like a 9/11 poster, and it insinuated that Ilhan Omar had something to do with 9/11, which of course she fucking didn't. But yeah, like this is unfortunately it's not news, and that's the most upsetting thing, is that it isn't news, because like it's really 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 weird that this just kind of keeps coming up and that this keeps happening. And yeah, look, anyway, she was the victim kind of yet again of another somewhat attack. She has it here. Lauren Boebert's Islamophobic comments directed at Ilhan Omar are not just appalling and outrageous, but dangerous. We decry this type of language and demand accountability. Now, that's obviously, from one of the very, very, very high IQ, whatever. And then she said, saying I am a suicide bomber is no laughing matter. GOP leader and Speaker Pelosi need to take appropriate action. Normalizing this bigotry not only endangers my life, but also the life of all Muslims, anti-Muslim. 100% and I do agree with Ilhan. Look, I am an atheist. I don't think that Ilhan Omar is correct in her spiritual beliefs. But I'm not also going to say that, well, no, but she deserves, this or something else. Of course she fucking doesn't. She's, you know what I mean? She's just fucking living her best life. It's fine. So yeah, it just doesn't need to be kind of brought up in the same way as what it does. Look, the point is, this was completely fucking out of line, and it should never have happened. Laverne Spicer, I'm gonna do a whole ass fucking video on this stupid fucking oh Jesus Christ. I'm going to do like just a whole ass video on that. Like try and think of the stupidest person that you can think of that comments on politics, and somehow she's worse. Like, just fucking somehow. Like, she is the stupidest person that is alive today. Unironically 4 IQ. Like 4 IQ points, and they're all furiously working together to keep the fucking skeletal machine that is her body going. Like, it's impressive, but in a bad way. You know what I mean? It's impressive that she is able to, with such like, with like all of these kind of negatives, and with every possible downfall at her, she continues to trudge on. It's a little bit inspiring, but it's mainly horrible. So yeah, so look, this happens. It happens all the time. Look, I'm not gonna pretend to be, this like big, all of a sudden fucking person who's all for Islam. Look, you guys know where I am and where I stand and stuff like that. But it still doesn't mean that she deserves this, because she doesn't. It's just as simple as that. She just doesn't. But yeah, but it's still, look, it's just, I don't know. I don't think that yeah, look, I'm losing my words here. I don't think that she deserves any of this kind of any of the shit that she is dealing with, or that anything else. Yeah, I don't know. I have literally lost the ability to speak. The point is, I don't think that she deserved any of that shit. I don't think that she deserved any of the, hate-filled speech and anything else like that. I don't think that she deserved any of that. Genuinely don't think that she deserved it. But look, unfortunately, this is just what a lot of people, especially in the United States, have to go through. It's bad. It's not great. It's really not good. But look, as I said, not good, not great, not chill, not very, not, anyway, I am rambling. I am really rambling right now. We're going to move on to the next topic, which is, there was a court case. Amand Aubrey, who was a person who was literally lynched by 3 men who decided that it was their patriotic duty to, do something about a person who happened to be black, who was jogging in their area, because how fucking dare he. And there was a whole ass court case about it. By the way, the details of this case are fucking horrible. Like, it was pretty fucking cut and dry that what had happened. And yet it took 72 days before police arrested anybody, which was clear and fucking it was clear cut. It was as obvious as anything that these were the guys who were guilty of doing this, and yet it was 72 days later that they were arrested. Why the fuck did it take that long? That's just one question that I have. But secondly, so during the case, this happened, and I can't, there's a lot of things that I can kind of say. It's like trigger warning or whatever else, but I don't know how else to kind of say it better than just to point to this and just, yeah, let's just watch that. This is going to be cringy. It's going to be fucking awful. Let's just watch it and just find out.
He can end up creeping into a home that is not his own and running away instead of facing the consequences, acting erratically when approached, and making terrible, unexpected, illogical choices. But a mother's love doesn't fade from that beautiful boy in the ball cap to the young intruder. And sadly, no verdict can change the grief of that future not realized. The hope that he could have turned himself around. Because all we can guess about the young man is that his teenage years were full of promise, but his early 20s just led him in the wrong direction. The facts presented in this trial bear no resemblance to the story that the state told you in opening statement. A 25-year-old who met a brutal death after being chased and killed by residents of a neighborhood who wanted nothing more than to murder him for having the audacity to jog in their neighborhood. Not a single piece of evidence that's been presented to you in this entire trial supports such a hateful and gruesome set of circumstances. Turning Ahmaud Arbery into a victim after the choices that he made does not reflect the reality of what brought Ahmaud Arbery to Satilla Shores in his khaki shorts with no socks to cover his long, dirty toenails. There were two sets of decision makers on February 23rd. It is not just the McMichaels decisions that led to this tragedy. And it is a tragedy. I see it in your faces, and I have felt it in mine.
Okay, I can only apologize for how low the audio is there. That's not anything on my end. It's genuinely on the whoever uploaded this. So I'm just going to play it again, but I'm going to mute it this time. I have the subtitles on. Yeah, that fucking happened. So she said, let's not make him a victim. Well, he's dead, so I don't know what else that makes him. Like, I genuinely don't. Like, if you have a better, like, whoever's in chat, please tell me a better word to refer to this gentleman with. It's like, how else, genuinely, someone in chat, give me a better word to refer to this person as than a victim. If he's not a victim in this case, what is the better word to use? Genuinely, I'm trying to figure out what's the best word. But also, look, oh my god, I just can't even even just begin to understand, because this is what's wrong with not just the justice system, but also like the systems of bias and the systems of just the justice system, and just everything that is wrong with that institution as a whole is summed up with this, because it is instantly the fact that anybody could actually take their case as a lawyer is fucking ridiculous to me. Like, the very idea that you have that, like, a portion of your case, of your defense, of your statements to the jury on behalf of the defendants in this case, is to talk about, as it has just popped up on the screen right there. I'm going to put it back. Fucking play. I'm on a rant. Long, dirty toenail. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Aside from the fact that, like, how the fuck do you know that? But even if you somehow did, if you had the fucking, like, you bribed the guy on the door to the morgue to find out, like, whether or not his toenails were in good nick or not. Even if you had somehow fucking done that, idea that you would even bring that, you would even think it's a good idea to bring that up as a point of, as a statement to say, is absolutely fucking ridiculous to me. Just try and think about that, and it's so unbelievably obvious to me, by the way, that this is continuing this narrative of, you know, they're the, you know, that they're the bad ones, that the white people in this case are the good ones, and that they were just doing something to protect their neighborhood. He was fucking jogging. By the way, the reason that they said that they were out looking for somebody is because there was a string of burglaries in that area, which, by the way, turned out to be bullshit. There was one, and it was several weeks before this happened, so it had absolutely nothing to do. I don't know whether they got into their car and decided to drive around and just look for a black guy who was jogging and use that as their excuse and think that, well, because the justice system is so heavily skewed and is so biased against minorities of any kind, that you know that like, oh, sure, it'll just work. We'll just say that we were protecting our neighborhood and it'll be fine. I mean, look at Kyle Rittenhouse. He got away on self-defense. Why the fuck can't we? This is absolutely ridiculous. It is just perpetuating this ridiculous idea that, you know, he was dangerous, that he was a danger to that area. He was the most, he had not a single thing on his record. He had never broken a law before in his life. He was innocently out in a different even if he was in a different fucking area, what fucking difference does it make? He was just jogging. That's it. He committed the crime of going out in public with presumably jogging gear on and you know, earphones in, and so didn't hear if they were at all calling out to him saying, what, you know, what are you doing over here, or what are you doing over there, or like, where are you going, etc, etc, etc. It's just, Jesus fucking Christ, just this idea that they said that they saw him going to one of their neighbor's house. Yeah, there was one house that was broken into several weeks beforehand, but there was like, it was weeks after it. There is no correlation here. You could say that there is one, and by the way, sorry, I'm just looking at this in the little mirror. I fucking love that like to dislike ratio. I know this is it's 81,000 views, so it's decent interaction, I suppose. But the point is, look, this just doesn't, oh my god, it is perpetuating this idea that black people are dangerous, that they are violent, that they are etc, 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 and that it was, you know, decent, good, moral white folk who were just going out and protecting the fucking neighborhood. It's absolutely not that. Aside from the fact that if we are to even look at history for even the briefest of moments, the most amount of violence, the most amount of savagery has been done to black people, not by black people. It is absolutely fucking insane to me that we are continuing this notion of, oh, they must be the aggressors, they must be the bad guys, they must be this, they must be that, they must be this, they must be that. It's just, Jesus fuck, it's absolutely insane to me. It is insane to me, because they are the ones who are the victims of the most brutal, of the most unimaginable levels of savagery that you can even think of the most savage thing you can think of, and it's fucking worse than that. They took babies out of their mother's arms and then raped them so that they could continue to give birth to babies who would then go on to be slaves to white people. This is not me going like, oh, I'm ashamed to be white, or I'm embarrassed to be white, or I'm apologizing for being white. It's absolutely nothing to do with that. But it's also recognizing the fact that white people have been unbelievably shitty towards everybody else, everybody who is not 100% white, and even not even that all of the time. Fucking Irish people were heavily discriminated against in the United States for a very long time. They were obviously discriminated against in England. There was Polish people across Europe. It was Italians again in the UN. It's just. It is xenophobia through and through. It is racism through and through. It is bigotry through and through. And it is just people being incredibly shitty people through and through. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. It's not hard. It's not complicated. It is just, they are unbelievably shitty people. And with such a long and vigorous history of being incredibly callous, savage, brutal, and deadly towards a particular group, and now somehow because slavery is not legal anymore, and because slavery is not, perpetuated anymore, at least not in the United States, or at least, well, sort of, it's a little bit of a great. The point, I'm not getting into the whole socialist thing. The point is, because, the Civil Rights Act was passed, because slavery was abolished in the United States, because Obama was president, we are supposed to just assume that racism is dead now. It's abso-fucking-lutely not. It is still something that is continuously ongoing. There is unbelievable issues that need to be resolved, and unbelievable battles that still need to be fought on this issue. It's insane. It's just. To me, this isn't difficult. You have 3 white people who are guilty of literally lynching in 2021. It took 72 days for them to be arrested. And this fucking stupid curly-haired bitch goes out and is, as part of her fucking defense, uses, well, he had dirty toenails, we think. As part of her defense, what sort of a, just what fucking what world are we living in? It's just insane. It's I don't know what fucking world we're living in anymore. I don't know what sort of, loopy, crazy fucking anything that what we have fucking jumped into. I have just absolutely no idea. I don't know. I just don't know where the fuck to even go with this. Because what else is there? What else is there to say? What else is there to say? Seriously. I'm genuinely asking. What else is there to say? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's been a while since I've had a rant. Fun. Right. Let's watch Tucker Carlson and talking to Kyle Rittenhouse, shall we? That should be fun. Types of good, wholesome Christian entertainment that we've come to know and love on this channel. Let's, what's the worst that could happen? It's only an hour long. I have it at 1.25 speed, though, so, yeah, let's just go.
Not to be true at all. So in that way, he speaks for business, from fires, making sure the rest of their other 2 properties didn't get burned down like they did the night prior, and they agreed. We went back to Dominic's house and hung out there for a little bit, and then we went to Car Source to help protect the property and make sure it didn't set on fire again.
So you get there, what do you see?
When I get there, I see, in the beginning, the morning of Ruther Central, I see just spray paint everywhere. I see smoke coming from the Car Source that was burnt down, and it was quite upsetting. because that was somebody's business that got destroyed.
Yeah. So you said to the people who own the car lot, I want to protect your cars, and they said, yes, please.
I said, hey, if you, I asked if they needed any help, and they said, yes, if you can.
Where were the police?
I'm not sure really, because they have a hard job.
For sure.
But I didn't really think they got the support they needed. The National Guard should have been called August 23rd, but the city of Kenosha failed the community. The governor, Tony Evers, failed the community, and there should have been a lot more resources to help with that.
That's for sure. So you've been criticized.
Yeah, I mean, like he like does the whole kind of like stereotypical thing. Like, look, he's been loved by the right wing and he's been hated by the left wing for the last like 18 months of this kid's life. And I say kid in the kind of, yeah. Anyway. So yeah, I can totally understand, you know, that like he's like kind of, I mean, he's literally sitting in front of fucking Tucker Carlson. I can totally understand why he's doing the whole, you know, yeah, we love cops thing. I can, you know, yeah, I can see why he's doing that. Does this get any better, by the way? Any fucking Christ. Right, let's just carry on.
For carrying a firearm into the scene, but it's obvious from the tape that a lot of people, you're not the only one with a firearm. There were rioters with firearms. Was that obvious to you?
Yes.
So you saw other people with guns?
I did. There was a lot of people on both, like there were rioters with firearms. I remember one very distinctly, Joshua Zeminski was walking around with a pistol in his hand all that night with Joseph Rosenbaum.
Where did you first see Rosenbaum?
The first time I saw Rosenbaum was the first time he threatened to kill me. It was at the corner of the car source lot that I was at primarily that night, and I was asking people if they needed medical, and he came up to me and Ryan Balch, and he said, if I catch any of you MFers alone, I'm going to effing kill you.
Had you ever seen him before?
I have not.
So you've never seen this guy, he walks up and threatens to kill you out of nowhere?
Yes. It was quite shocking. I was like, why would somebody threaten to kill me? I'm just asking if people need help on both sides. I was there just to help anybody that needed, and shockingly, the only people I helped that night were rioters.
What kind of sense did you get from Rosenbaum? I mean, that sounds deranged.
When he threatened to kill me, I was like, what the heck just happened? Nobody's ever threatened to kill me up until that point. And I was like, that's not something you say to somebody.
How long after that?
I mean, I get that it's it's a different context and stuff like that. Like, I do get that it's a different context. Like, but I mean, let's be fair. Like, somebody has told this kid that they're gonna kill him before, and he's like I get it's a different context, but I think like I don't know. Like this bit, I just think he's kind of like I don't know. He's kind of blowing up for that kind of, you know, just for that sweet victimhood, you know. I don't know. That's just maybe I'm just being cynical, but that is just my kind of opinion.
Was it that he tried to grab your rifle?
It was about an hour and a half later, and then there was actually a second time he said to the group, he said, this is the second time he threatened to kill everybody. He said, I'm gonna effing kill you. I'm gonna cut your hearts out, you effing N-words.
Cut your hearts out?
Yes.
Did any of the rioters try and calm him down or stop him?
Sorry, that's excessive.
What I noticed is the rioters were trying to like
how oddly specific. How right? Am I alone in that? That's really specific. Like you're gonna cut their fucking hearts. Jesus, what an odd threat. I mean, look, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to downplay this too much. Obviously, threats are shitty and threats are bad and threats are whatever. But at the same time, it's like that's so odd, right? Because it's so specific. Anyway,
they were like disassociating with him because he was like spewing the N-word around, and they just didn't seem to want to have anything to deal with him, the rioters.
Yeah. So he comes, he tries to grab your rifle, he gets shot. You decide at that point, unless I'm misremembering, you want to go turn yourself into the police.
Yes. After I shoot Mr. Rosenbaum, he tried to grab my gun. I was running away. There was a gunshot behind me. After I shoot him, I run around the car because I was going to go render first aid to him. I wasn't able to because then there was a mob forming and calling for my execution to get him and kill him. And that's when I tried to run to the police line and get to the police.
Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna fucking break YouTube TOS. I mean, this is on YouTube, so like Probably not, but for these types of things, I'm just going to play it safe. You'll still be able to hear it, but I'm just going to play it safe and just not play this bit. As soon as it goes back to just the two of them, then yeah, we're all good.
And then I am attacked again.
By the guy who kicked you?
By Jump Kick Man, yes.
Whose identity we didn't know. It turns out the prosecution knew it and hid it.
So we found out November 7th, the prosecution, we went into the judge's chambers and the prosecution said, we identified Jump Kick Man, and the prosecution threw a fit a little bit. They didn't want us to interview him. They were like, well, he's a victim, and didn't want my investigators or my attorneys to interview him or ask him questions. They just wanted to do it private, non-recorded, and the judge said, no, it's going to be recorded. And then a couple hours later, they say, oh, he asked for immunity and we're not going to give it to him, so we're not going to be calling him as a witness.
Yeah, well, probably didn't want to talk about his criminal record.
Yeah.
So you're running, trying to get to the police lines. You see the mob coming after you. Let's execute him, they're saying. And then out of nowhere, you get dropped to the ground by the guy who kicks you in the head. Mm-hmm. Did you see him coming?
I did. To backtrack a little bit, actually, as I'm running, Gage Grosskreutz came up to me with his phone and put it in my face, and he said, what are you doing? Did you just shoot that man? And I told him, I'm going to the police. And he said, oh, okay, and ran off, and I kept running to get to the police. And that's when Anthony Huber strikes me with the skateboard as I'm running before I'm on the ground for the first time. And then I'm hit with a rock by somebody in a white tank top. And that's how I end up on the ground. And I have 4 people around me from what I remember. And I move my firearm in their direction and they back off with their hands up so I don't shoot them. And then Jump Kick Man keeps coming. And that's when I fire 2 shots at Jump Kick Man.
Wow. And you miss him and he kicks you?
Yes.
Then what happens?
After Jump Kick Man is running off, Anthony Huber comes up and he grabs the barrel of my gun and then he hits me with his skateboard, holding his trucks, and that's when I shoot him 1 time.
Where did he hit you with the skateboard?
He hit me in the back of the head, the back of the head towards the neckline.
Did you think you were going to be killed at that point?
I did.
Then what happens?
And then after Mr. Huber attacks me, Mr. Grosskreutz puts his hands up, and then I have my rifle pointed in his direction for about a second, and then once I lower my rifle, I noticed that my ejection port is opened about an inch, and Mr. Grosskreutz said I pulled the charging handle, which never happened. I hit the forward assist to close the ejection port, and he sees me doing that or something, and this time he runs at me, and he has his gun pointed directly at my head.
Did you see the gun?
I did.
Do you think he was going to shoot you?
I did. He had it pointed directly at my head, and that's when I shoot him 1 time, and he is no longer a threat to me at that point because he ran off after I fired that shot.
Did you realize you hit him?
I didn't know until later.
So then what happens?
There is a person directly in front of me, and I point my rifle in their direction, and he puts his hands up, and he's backing up, and I then turn around, start going to the police, and then I hear shots behind me, and I turn around and briefly raise my rifle to see if I'm being shot at, and then I realize I can't see who's shooting at me, so then I turn around and go back to the police car, towards the police line.
It's just, hearing this, it's just hard to believe this is happening in an American city.
Yeah.
So then you finally get up.
Look, okay. Oh, okay, right. Right, wow, okay. I'm going to talk about exactly what I think about Kyle Rittenhouse. I think that not even to kind of talk about anything to do with the trial per se, right? I'm like not going to talk about, because I've already mentioned how I kind of feel about it, but just to kind of talk about specifically him going there, the fact that he went there and the fact that he, did this and stuff like that. Just, there is extreme counter evidence to the talking point of a good guy with a gun helps a situation where there is a bad guy with a gun, right? There's ample like metadata almost at this point to suggest that it does not help if you are a good guy with a gun in a situation where there is a bad guy with a gun. Statistically, it leads to more people dying, it leads to more people getting injured, it leads to more people, this whole notion that this is like a good thing, and look, I'm sure yes that you can point to this example or that example where somebody who was a good guy with a gun came in, stopped it, nobody got shot, nobody got hurt, etc, etc, etc. I know that you can point to those, but those are anecdotal pieces of evidence, those are individual pieces of evidence, and we're talking about data here, we're talking about metadata, we're talking about a collection and a study of this issue. Like, that's what we're talking about. So it doesn't, like, just, yeah. I don't think that he should have gone. I just think, aside from the fact that, like, he's fucking 17, like, he was literally a fucking, like, well, I mean, he was a minor, he wasn't an adult yet, you know what I mean? Like, just the fact that, like, he even felt it kind of necessary, or that he even wanted to go there, to me, is just kind of weird, you know? Like, and look, I know that that's not, geez, I'm fucking killing him, you know? But like, I don't know, I just don't think that it's necessarily... I just don't think it's a situation that he should have ever gone to. I don't think it's something that he should have been involved in. I don't think that it was necessary for him to go. So yeah, look, but I mean, like, technically speaking, kind of like what he's talking about, yeah, it's obviously shit that, you know, he was hit and that he was threatened and whatever. And like, it kind of seemed that he was doing the good thing by going back to the police line, but still, it just, I just don't think he should have been there in the first place, and that's ultimately my kind of bias on this issue, I guess. But hey ho, let's continue.
You hear shots, you turn to see who's shooting at you, and then you finally make it to the police line.
Yes. Once I make it to the police cruiser, the police officer says, "Get back, get back, get back." One of them has a gun out and the other has pepper spray pointed at me. And I say, "Hey, I just had to shoot somebody. I just had to shoot somebody." And then they say, "Go home." And I didn't know this until...
Go home?
Yeah. The officer said to go home. I don't think he knew what happened or heard me. There's a lot of chaos going on.
Yes.
All right, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Jesus Christ, if he literally said, "I've just had to kill somebody," and the officer told him to just go home, yeah, that's let's hope that he didn't hear him, because that's concerning.
But apparently he pepper sprayed me. You can see it in the video, but I don't remember being pepper sprayed by him.
So then what happened?
I say, okay, I go back to the car source lot number 2. We've been referring to them. Car source 1 is the one that got burnt down. Car source 2 is the one that I was at primarily the entire night, and car source 3 is the one where I was attacked by Mr. Rosenbaum. I go back to car source lot number 2, and I tell everybody there what happened. I said I had to do it. I was just attacked. I was dizzy. I was vomiting. I couldn't breathe. And I was like, I wanted to turn myself in Kenosha. I wanted to turn myself into the police in Kenosha, but I wasn't able to because they weren't accepting visitors, apparently, with the barricades and the fence up. So we ended up turning myself into the Antioch Police Department.
She drove back across state lines, is what now we're calling it. You couldn't even turn yourself in.
No, it was like I had to go to Antioch Police Department, which, to my understanding, is the closest police department to Kenosha.
Why do you think people were burning car source? What does that have to do with civil rights?
I don't know. I think it was opportunists taking advantage of the BLM movement. I agree with the BLM movement.
Hey!
I think everybody has a right to protest.
Whoa, that was some interesting language there. That was some interesting language. Did we hear that, everybody? Opportunists taking advantage of the BLM movement. That was some good ass fucking language right there. Wow. All right. Okay. Color me impressed.
But I do not agree that people have the right to burn down. I don't appreciate that people are burning down American cities to try to spread.
Okay, yeah, wow, okay. Then he kind of completely fucking flipped it around by doing that, yeah. Look, I get that this guy has been in primarily right-leaning circles for the last 18 months of his life. I get that, you know, that, like, yeah, like, and that he's been living in this world, and he's, like, probably getting all of his information kind of filtered through that sense. I cannot express this enough. There have been no American cities which have been burnt down due to BLM. None. It's never happened. There have been a couple of buildings in a couple of blocks in a lot of states, which is a fucking problem. Yeah, I'm not overstating it, but I mean, if we're to kind of give the bill to the BLM movement, then we also have to give the bill to do with damages. We have to give the bill to the civil rights movement, to the suffragette movement, to pretty much any kind of struggle for change that's happened in about the last 400 years in American history. So look, yeah, look, we're obviously we're not doing that, but the idea that, yeah, look, there's not been a single city which has been burnt down. It's just inflammatory language, and I know why he's doing it as well. But look, anyway, this is what it is.
spread their message. I think there's other ways to go around and do that.
Well, I agree with that completely. So you turn yourself into Antimuslim. What do you think is going to happen at that point to you?
I didn't know. I was in shock. My head was spinning from being hit in the head multiple times. I had some minor injuries. I just didn't know. I didn't know I was going to be arrested for defending myself because everything was on video. But part of the reason I think I was arrested is because of the mob mentality. And they were like, oh, yeah, we're just going to arrest him, even though there was videos already out showing me being attacked and having to defend myself.
So when was it that you were arrested?
I was arrested on August 25th at around 6 a.m. I was formally arrested without a criminal complaint being drafted. They didn't know what they were charging me with yet. They just arrested me.
At home?
At Antioch Police Department.
What did your parents say when you called them and told them what had happened?
I didn't call my mom after I saw her, and she was in shock. She was like, she wanted to go into hiding, and I said, no, the right thing to do would be to turn myself in. I didn't do anything wrong.
So you knew that from the very beginning?
I knew that. A lot of people are like, oh, Kyle had time to meet with his attorneys to come up with this amazing defense of self-defense. No, that's not the case. This has been 100% self-defense from the beginning, and I didn't know there was 100 cameras. But I did know I was attacked, and I defended myself.
What do you think would have happened to you if there hadn't been the amount of video that there is?
I can't even imagine. I don't think we'd be sitting here right now having this talk, Tucker.
That's for sure. You'd never get out. Rittenhouse knows perfectly well the only reason he's free is because he can prove what actually happened thanks to those videos, but it didn't prevent him from going to jail anyway. He did for a longer period than most people understand. During that time, case, our Tucker Carlson original, we were found out that day. Nation.
Causing seriously. No.
I go to deputy.
You get arrested. What happens then?
Once I'm arrested, I go to deputy juvenile facility, and I gotta say thank you to them for their professionalism and
the jailers,
the guards at deputy. They were the utmost professional people I've ever met.
Really?
Exactly. They were some of the most professional people I've ever met. It was amazing. Like, they treated me with respect, and they didn't like talk down to you like you've seen like in some videos. They just treated me like I was a human.
How long were you there?
I was in jail for 87 days, and this follows in with Lynn Wood, Lynn Wood was raising money on my behalf, and he held me in jail for 87 days, disrespected my wishes, put me on media interviews, which I should never have done, which he said, oh, you're going to go talk to the Washington Post, which was not a good idea, along with John Pierce. They said I was safer in jail instead of at home with my family. And then after I'm bailed.
Your own lawyer said that?
My lawyer said that, John Pierce and Lynn Wood.
87 days is a long time to be in jail.
It was very long. I lost a lot of weight in there. I since then gained it back.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. But
what the fuck was that laugh?
it was very long. I lost a lot of weight in there. I since then gained it back.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. But 80.
What the fuck was that laugh? Oh my god, that's haunting.
7 days in there. I since then gained it back.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. But
it's like he just figured out how to laugh. Like it just happened to him recently. Like what? It's so like I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. But just what the fuck was that laugh?
But 87 days of not being with my family for defending myself.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. For defending yourself, we know my thoughts on that. The whole 87 days without his. Like against his wishes, so presumably there was like an option for him to kind of go home to his family. That was like there as like an option to do. Yeah, the fact that wasn't done. Okay, yeah, that's pretty fucked up, right? I'm not going to defend that or anything else. That is genuinely pretty fucked up. The fact that he wasn't even allowed to go home. That's
And being taken advantage to, being used for a cause by John Pierce and Lynn Wood, trying to trying to raise money so they can take it for their own benefit, not trying to set me free.
So you think they could have raised the money for bail faster, but they didn't?
I believe sometime in September 5th, I want to say, they had over $1 million, and bail was set and able to be posted in September. So they could have had me sign the waiver for extradition and had me back in Wisconsin, and I could have been bailed out by mid-September. But they wanted to keep me in jail until November 20th.
What was that like?
It was scary in jail. Like, you had to watch over yourself, and not a lot of people liked me in jail until the funny thing is a lot of people didn't like me in jail, but they got to hear like my story and they got to understand me. Like, he's actually a really decent person. I'm not this person that the media painted him out to be. And it was scary, but I was able to make friends, I'd say, acquaintance in jail, and like play spades, card games with them.
Amazing. So you're in jail for 80.
all right. Yeah. Look, I don't even need to comment on that. It's just kind of pointless. I think there's nothing to respond to there.
7 days. Do you have a sense of how your case is being talked about in the outside world?
Not really when I'm in jail, but once I am bailed out, John Pierce said I was in an unorganized militia, which is just blatantly false. I didn't know what a militia was.
Wait, your lawyer said you were in a militia?
John Pierce said that, and it's blatantly false. I didn't know what a militia was until after the fact, until
It was a group of them that all kind of organized to go down there. So I can understand him using that argument, but
November like 25th, after I was watching some of the interviews he did, I was like, I'm not in a militia. I don't know what that is.
Sorry to laugh.
And I was like, what the heck? And I'm like, no wonder people are saying I'm in a militia. It's because he painted that narrative, which he should never have gone there.
Well, yeah, it's untrue.
Exactly.
Were you surprised to, so I haven't heard you mention race at all in this conversation. You said you saw your community on fire, you wanted to help. You asked a business owner if you could help. Were you surprised to see this framed as a racial story?
To be honest, Tucker, this case has nothing to do with race. It never had anything to do with race. It had to do with the right to self-defense.
What a sweet kid. I think that comes through loud and clear. Playing hearts in jail. But he seems... It's dishonorable to put out fire.
I'm not a racist person. I support the BLM movement. I support peacefully demonstrating. And I believe there needs to be change. I believe there's a lot of prosecutorial misconduct, not just in my case, but in other cases. And it's just amazing to see how much a prosecutor can take advantage of somebody. Like, if they did this to me, imagine what they could have done to a person of color who doesn't maybe have the resources I do or is not widely publicized like my case.
Whoa! Whoa, okay. Okay. That was very good. That was very, very, very good. Yeah, wow. I'm actually really surprised. That was very, very good. The fact that he even said that it's nothing to do with race, he supports the BLM movement, he supports the right to peacefully protest, he, and, you know, like, then he's like, he's aware of the situation that he's in, that his story was so, like, massively publicized, and that, what if it had happened to a person of color as well? That's really, okay. Okay, I'm not changing my mind about this guy just yet, but pretty good.
What did you make of the President of the United States calling you a white supremacist?
Mr. President, if I could say one thing to you, I would urge you to go back and watch the trial and understand the facts before you make a statement.
That's not a small thing to be called that.
I mean, he did hang out with the Proud Boys and make the okay sign. I'm not saying that Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist, but he does have a lot of white supremacist friends and supporters. So, anyway.
No, it's actual malice, defaming my character for him to say something like that.
I mean, why do you think, and it's not simply Biden who said that, it's a lot of people on television have said that, dozens of people have said that. I'm sorry to tell you in case you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's actually quite hysterical how nobody can go back and look at the facts of the case. He crossed state lines, false. He's a white supremacist, false. None of that is true. And the lies that they can just get away with spreading is just sickening, and it's a disgrace to this country.
I couldn't agree more. So before this, I mean, you're 17 years old, so you're probably not, watching cable news all day or, deeply in politics, or maybe you were, but did you know how dishonest media coverage of events could be?
I didn't. I've never seen something so polarizing in my life when it's obvious self-defense. If you look at the case, you look at the facts, no matter what your opinion is or where you stand. This wasn't a political case. It shouldn't have been a political case. It was made a political case. This had nothing to do with race. And the ways people are twisting this is just sickening.
I think a lot of people watching have reached the same conclusion, and they would like to see you, help make this better by holding some of these liars to account. Do you plan to do that?
I have really good lawyers who are taking care of that right now.
I mean, yeah, okay, so the idea, that he's talking about, like, he's never seen, like, bias in the media and stuff like that. I mean, he's literally sitting on Tucker Carlson's show, who is the most watched person on Fox News. You didn't think that news media could be polarized? I mean, Jesus Christ, this is like, I don't, yeah, wow, it's like so far beyond unaware of your situation or your surroundings. It's like, wow, yeah, a total lack of situational awareness. That's what I was shooting for there, but yeah, Billy Wallace has just typed in, Biden does not like the acquittal Rittenhouse. mean, like, there's not like, okay, there's a few like situations and a few videos of Biden kind of like being like, you know, a little bit kind of, dude, what are you doing there? With a lot of like younger people. But I mean, I don't know if you liked or supported Trump, but he was close personal friends with the leader of the second biggest pedophile ring, only second to the Catholic Church, who owned his own private island, who he's on record saying that they shared an intimate fondness of young girls. I don't really know if that's the situation where you're coming from, having supported Trump or having liked Trump or having voted for Trump. If like, it's you very much like the Catholic Church is somewhat disqualified from talking about some icky people in this world. That's all I'm going to say on that.
So I'm hoping one day there will be accountability for their actions that they did.
Okay, so you're intent on you're not going to let that go.
Like I said, really good lawyers are handling that.
Yeah. So during the trial, was there ever a point where you thought, despite the fact you had all this video evidence on your side bolstering your story, did you ever think, I might go to jail for the rest of my life?
That was a thought I had every single day until I got the not guilty verdict.
Really?
It was because are you aware who Joellen Demetrius is?
Yes.
So Joellen selected my jury, which she did an amazing job, but you still have that feeling in your stomach and knots to where like, what if somebody snuck their way onto my jury to convict me? So that was something that always went through my head, but I know where I stand and I know I defended myself.
Were you surprised by the verdict?
I mean, it's kind of weird the way that he's saying that, like, some people were like snuck onto the jury to try and get him convicted. I mean, like, the evidence is either there that he convicted him or that he not. Now, that doesn't mean that a jury is going to go with the side that has the bigger or the best evidence or whatever. Like, we've, you know what I mean? Like, we've like had some bad rulings based on jury opinion, you know, but like people are imperfect by nature, so like we're never going to get it right 100% of the time. But yeah, that's kind of delving into conspiratory kind of land where he's kind of talking about that this was like set up as like an inside job, that they were getting kind of the whole thing of it, set up inside job of like trying to get him acquitted even though he knew that he was perfect. That's kind of a little bit weird to me. I didn't really think it was necessary.
I wasn't. I thought they came to the correct verdict because it wasn't Kyle Rittenhouse on trial in Wisconsin. It was the right to self-defense on trial. Right. And if I was convicted, no one would ever be privileged to defend their life against attackers. And thank God they came to the correct.
Yes, they would. Shut up. Being an idiot right now.
Verdict, but not guilty.
So the media lies about the police shooting of Jacob Blake. A riot ensues. Young people from throughout the area rush to the riot to set things on fire. Kyle Rittenhouse shows up to prevent things from being burned to the ground, to stop arson. Guess whose side?
Live. We do everything opposite of that every day. We eat all of this.
So you're in the juvenile facility, you're 17, but then you turn 18, you go to Kenosha County Jail.
Actually, I go to Kenosha County Jail as I'm 17. I'm in adult jail. At October 31st, I'm extradited, which I agree with. I wanted to go to Kenosha County Jail from the beginning. I was extradited to Kenosha County Jail. My attorney, John Pierce, said, we're going to keep you in juvenile facility. I always want to be extradited, and I had no problem with that. But he forgot to file the stay, and he didn't even know I was going. So my attorney didn't know I was going to jail, which is quite sickening because he should have known.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point of an attorney.
Yeah, right. Thank God I have competent counsel now.
Yeah.
But the jail was interesting. I was in my own room. It was kind of like a one-star. I'm going to describe it as a one-star hotel. A one-star hotel. We'll go with a Super 8.
Super 8.
I had a desk. I had a shower. I had a toilet. I had a TV. I had a tablet. But I didn't have running water.
Seriously?
I had a phone also, but I did not have running water, so I didn't shower until November 20th.
How long
From
is
October 31st to November 20th, I did not take a shower.
That's disgusting.
Oh, that's bad.
I smelled terrible. I felt sick. I lost weight. My health was degrading. If I was in there for a month longer, I would probably been in a hospital.
Wait.
Okay, yeah, no, that's genuinely fucked up. No. Genuinely, that could have happened to the most right-wing person ever, like a literal neo-Nazi fucking fascist, and I'd still no. That's no. That's terrible. That's genuinely bad.
You had no running water.
No running water in my jail cell.
Did they let you out?
To talk with my attorneys. I didn't really say anything about my running water because I don't like to bring attention to myself. I didn't want to draw any problems with any of the guards. So I was like, I'm just gonna shut up and not mention that I don't have running water. But I did shower until November 20th. And when I showered, I took like a 3-hour shower. I had like blood. My skin was bleeding because my skin was coming off of my body. It was just the nastiest thing ever. And I feel bad for Dave, who's been with me through the beginning, who's helped start freekyleusa.org. I feel bad for him because he had to deal with my smell for that 3-hour car ride, so I give him all the credit in the world.
Imagine putting that
There's
kid
that fucking
in jail.
laugh
Well, there's very
again.
few people in downtown Kenosha that night who was there for the right reasons. Who was trying to help, who was trying to
Dude.
bring order out of disorder, who was trying to protect rather than destroy. And they put him in jail. And most infuriating, what do you think
Shut
your life's
up.
going to be like after this?
I'm hoping I can live a quiet, stress-free life and not.
No, you don't. You're gonna get a fucking intern under some like incredibly right-wing fucking politician. This guy is not done. He's gonna be like it or not. This guy is gonna be in the realm of politics for a very long time to come. You don't want a quiet life. Shut up. Nobody believes you.
And be free of any intimidation or harassment and just go on with my life as a normal 18-year-old kid attending college.
So you're going to go to college?
I am in college. I'm a student at Arizona State University.
What, I mean, are you going to go to campus? And
I think I am. I want to. It's a lot of things we have to look into, so I don't know for sure yet. But I do intend on going in campus and pursuing a career in nursing. I may change it. I've been looking into law. I may want to become a lawyer. I haven't completely decided yet. But I've been looking, I want to be a nurse, so I've been doing the prerequisites for that.
Interesting. Do you think you can have that you can live peacefully in this country unmolested?
I hope so, but I can't read the future. I'm hoping that people go back and understand the facts and be like, watch the trial, watch the prosecutorial misconduct that I believe happened, and realize that I was an innocent 17-year-old who was violently attacked.
Yeah, look, clearly he's going to be the most biased person in the world there. But yeah, no, the prosecutor had like he was doing like a very complicated like sword fight with like an expert in the area with one hand tied behind his back. Like he was screwed from the very fucking beginning. There was so much bias against him. But yeah, anyway.
Attacked and defended myself.
Because you wanted to clean graffiti and protect a car lot.
And apparently, a lot of people on the left, it's criminal to want to protect your community.
Do you feel like your life's been destroyed by this?
I feel...
No, that's not what we think. It's just... I don't know. I shouldn't even need to fucking explain that, but that's not what we think.
My life has been extremely defamed by it. I don't think I would be able to go out and get a job and not have to deal with harassment. But I'm at a place now to where I have to have people with me because people want to kill me just because I defended myself, and they're too ignorant to look at the facts of what happened.
Do you feel the threats?
I do. I see some of the threats. Some of the things people say, it's absolutely sickening.
Are you confident that the government will protect you from?
I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but really being a victim. Sorry, I just have to call it how I see it. He's really, really, really turned up that fucking victimhood.
From these threats, because that's of course the government's job.
I hope so, but we all know how the FBI works.
Yeah. I mean, looking back, it's been, a year and a half, less than even. This is not the life that you planned, obviously.
No, it is far from the life I planned. This is something that I wish never would have happened, but it did, and we can't change that. But how it's been how polarized it became is absolutely sickening. Yeah. Like, right or left, people using me for a cause that should never have been used as a cause.
I read that you're not going to stay in the Midwest.
I'm not. I'm going to find somewhere to live. Before this, I actually wanted to move to Naples, Florida, and then this happened. But I don't know where I'm going to go. I'm going to go lay low and live my life and enjoy it.
Why are you so calm?
I'm a naturally calm person. I find it to be a problem when people are overreacting because things are out of our control. So I try not to deal with that.
Huh. I mean, just for the...
Believe me, on the inside, I'm freaking out.
Well, you must be. I mean, for the record, you just got acquitted.
Yeah.
I mean, like 2 days ago. So
yeah.
That was the first thing I noticed, that you seem very calm. You don't seem like someone who's just been through had his mind blown.
Yeah, on the inside, I'm freaking out, but the best thing you can do, you freak out, everybody else freaks out. It's like a chain reaction.
Yes.
So the best thing I can do is stay calm.
Do you feel like you've been watched over?
I believe God's been on my side from the beginning.
Or to imagine you could have watched the whole trial
Jesus.
and then watch those 48 minutes and come away thinking Kyle Rittenhouse is a monster. Just the opposite, actually. As we said, this is a boy who sincerely believed...
All right, okay, yeah, he's just talking about, bullshit. Right. Yeah, wow, that was not at all as interesting as I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to lie to you. However, yeah, Kyle kind of seemed like not, like, unironically, not, terrible there, and actually had some redeeming moments. That was, yeah, all right, okay, that was actually pretty good. actually. But anyway, that is all that I had planned for tonight's stream. I know we've only been going for a little bit more than an hour, but just very, very short for some of my streams. But yeah, look, as I said, I don't particularly like Kyle still. Like, yeah, but yeah, no, he definitely had some redeeming. Had some redeeming moments there, like some genuinely good. Yeah, good moments. Very good wording on a lot of different important things as well. So, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, no, for sure. That was definitely interesting. It was definitely interesting. But anyway, look, I'm not going to keep you here too much longer, mainly because I'm at the level of height where I am forgetting what I'm talking about midway through a sentence, and so that just means I'm going to ramble about absolutely fucking nothing for the next about 2 to 3 hours. So with that, I want to thank everybody who is watching right now, who will watch. Yeah, like, subscribe, do all that YouTuber bollocks, and we will talk to you in the next one.